Hello, I'm Susan McCrossan and this is my book, Breaking the Learning Barrier. Hello. Do you ever feel like your brain isn't working properly, or it doesn't seem to be, you don't seem to do things as efficiently as others? We have two sides to our brain, and both of them are critical in performing easily, doing tasks easily, whether it's academic or not. And one of the major problems is that many people don't have good access to both sides of the brain. So we're born, we have a creative, emotional, intuitive side of our brain, and we have a logical, analytical, linear side to our brain. And we're born with the creative side. It's in touch with the emotions, feelings, intuition, can be quite sensitive to others and be aware of other people's feelings. And until we're about 2 or 3, that's all we have. So trying to rationalize about later, which is a time concept which needs logic access, with your 1-year-old is totally counterproductive. And in fact, really you just want to distract them. If they're doing something you don't want them to be doing or whatever it is, you just distract them because you can't rationalize at that stage. So for those of us who don't end up putting or getting in touch with wiring, it's a wiring issue really in the brain. For whatever reason, some people the logic side doesn't open up as it should when we're starting at about 2. And so by the time you're about 5, you start to understand consequences, you understand the concept of later, and the child that does not have logic, let's say at any age, who pushes their sibling at the top of the stairs and the sibling falls down the stairs, they're just as shocked as everybody else that it happened because they didn't see the results of their action before they did it. And so they're constantly in the moment, they're constantly getting told to pay more attention, to be able to sit in a classroom and sit still with other people around you and they're moving and twiddling their hair and playing, doing any number of things. It's extremely distractible. They're distracting, and so the child is called distractible because they're, this attention deficit diagnosis, in fact, they're attending to everything. They can't select out what they want to attend to, whereas a person with good access to logic is able to go, oh, okay, that's Johnny, doing whatever he's doing. Again, I can ignore that, I know what it is, and I can keep my focused attention to the front of the classroom, listening to what the teacher's saying. But if I don't have that access, I can't. I just keep turning and looking all the time. It's a bit, and it's like asking a small child, very small child, to be able to do that when they don't, when they can't. So telling them to do it or medicating them so that they're quieter and they're not as disruptive in the classroom is not really a solution that's going to enable them to end up being successful in life. The things that you can do easily, you do, and the things that are difficult, you avoid. So if the behavior tells you what's going on in the brain processing, so if the person avoids reading, it's either because they have problems decoding the words or they read them well, but they don't remember what they read. And so if you read a page and you only remember 10%, 20% of it, I think you'd have to be crazy to keep going, right? It would be boring. You wouldn't be able to follow the thread of it. In fact, I did have a client, an adult client at one stage, who was a very good artist, and her husband had bought her a book and gave it to her, and she starts reading it, and about halfway through he asks her what she thinks of the book, and she says, well, it's sort of interesting, but the characters seem to keep changing all the time. And he said, it's a book of short stories. And so she was halfway through the book and had not realized that, which tells you how poor her reading comprehension was. Of course, we worked on her, and she now doesn't have any kind of problem. But so the behavior tells you the access problem. If they're having trouble doing it, it's because there's an access problem. If it's easy to do, you just do it, right? You just do the reading, get it done, and you're not avoiding it. So the person, the child or the adult who's always looking at the distractible squirrel, oh, what's that over there? Oh, That's the person who's low in logic. Then you get the analytical types who are high in logic, but they might be low in Gestalt. So they can be very rational and they might be good at some things, but they usually also have a spelling problem because both sides are required to be a good speller. Both sides of the brain, one side of the brain makes the image and the other side stores and retrieves it. And also reading comprehension. You read with the creative side and you comprehend with logic. So they could still be affected. So if you'd like to know more, go to the website crossinology.com.